Yeah, we back again.
Mm-hmm.
Atypical.
Mm-hmm.
Atypical.
Mm-hmm.
We recording, babe.
Oh.
Atypical.
Podcast.
See, people like that. They like the little jump backs and forwards.
Well, we reacted to a little rap earlier, and we were like, man, this is some real rap. That freestyle, Eric Jamal, that was some real rap.
It was.
He's like, you're asking for these followers, man. Where are you leading us? I was like, oh. So, yeah, as you can see, I'm here distracted, checking my socials. What's going on? Who's that? What's up?
Your mentions.
Yeah.
Check my mentions.
Check my mentions.
I
Ooh,
would
she
hit
can
it.
get it.
Yeah, who she can get it.
Like, oh, that's social media, man.
It is, isn't it?
We wake up and we get on our phone to help to start our fictions, whatever he says. I don't know. I mean, he's speaking some real stuff.
Well, speaking of that, do you, take me through a morning of Cam?
Alright, so here's my morning routine.
Yeah.
As soon as I wake up, I
Yeah.
do check my phone. I
Okay.
check all these numbers. I check personal stuff. I don't really care what else is going on. I just check my personal growth, which I think is healthy in a way. It's not good.
So you're checking, stats?
I'm checking my stats. What grew overnight, because I check it every morning. You know?
Okay.
And then eventually it leads to me watching YouTube video, whatever YouTube video I can think that I find interesting, because I just like turning my brain on, using like a creative, like a documentary. I'll watch like a 30-minute video just about something that I like, just a topic that I like.
Okay.
And it's like reading a book for me, because I can't read very well. Like, I can read, but I can't visualize when I read. So it's pointless. So I'll do that, and then I'll go eat breakfast and watch more YouTube videos. I get on social media at a right hour of the day. Like, I'll spend a whole hour looking at social media, and I just get bored of it. For the most part, I spend all day watching YouTube videos when I'm not working out.
And the YouTube videos are like, what category do they?
So recently, it's been VFX artists, watching VFX artists.
But you're watching, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're watching videos that help you learn a skill.
Yeah, like I want to be better at something, so I just watch YouTube videos pertaining to it. Mm-hmm. There will be sometimes when I'll watch these channels that I watched as a kid for the nostalgic. Because I like the feeling of nostalgia. I like, oh yeah, I remember I used to watch these guys, and I'll do that.
Entertainment's not a bad thing.
No, but I'll never get into this drama. Like, I can't put myself in the drama aspect of social media, because it's just not my place to be. I don't care what other people are doing. I really only care about myself, which sounds selfish, but that's reality.
Well, I think right, like, in order to get where you want to go in life, you have to be more focused on your growth. Like, I heard a quote from 50 Cent the other day that really resonated with me, and he said, how did he say it? He basically said, if your expectations of others is what oftentimes will hold you back, he was like, I don't expect anything from anyone. So therefore, all the energy you put expecting things from other people, I put back into myself. So don't waste time expecting people to show up because I had to always show up for myself. So I just put the effort and the energy that you spend wanting someone else to show up for you to show up for myself.
Yeah.
I was like, man, it's good. It's good. There's balance, of course. There's balance with anything. I think we're relational beings, so we need people around us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also think that, if you were to track your growth, how would you feel about that? You know what I mean? Like, would you feel good or would you feel bad because you hadn't really grown? You know what I mean? So I always want to make sure, because I feel like you're always growing.
You
might not grow
the whole
way
world
that you
is
want.
always growing. You're never really going back. You can only lose when you're talking about money. If you're talking about followers and you did something really bad.
No, I'm just talking about in life in general. I think everyone's growing. They just might not be growing into what they want to be.
It's not linear. It's
yeah. I think that depending on where you invest your time will give you what you invest your time in.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're constantly, like you said, following the drama train, well, you're probably going to have that in your life.
God, but like, and
you know what I mean?
Why
But, or if you're going to
always
follow
following
the
drama?
track of the gym, then you're probably going to have that in your life.
Yeah,
if
that's
you follow the track of...
It's true.
Like, I think we're all growing. I just don't know if we would be happy with how we're growing.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we would blame our circumstances or the things around us as part of the problem. But we get to choose where we spend our time. And we get to choose where we invest our time. And if you're investing your time in things that you don't want in your life, then who do you really hold responsible for that?
Here's the thing.
Right?
Yeah. I'm always talking about traveling, but if I was really wanting to travel, I would have done it by now. I have so much free time. So it just lets me know that, like, when I'm gifted the opportunity of travel, I will take it. But until then, it's my move to make. I'm the first move on the chessboard. Like, I just haven't done it. Like, I want to travel, but if I really wanted to, then I would have done it by now because I can.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so lately it's just been sticking to a routine. Every day is the same for me, and I gradually get better at everything I've been doing. And then I start adding in little smaller things, and then I get better at those. So the routine's almost perfected. And then it's the problem solving that I get better at when the routine does get messed up.
And that's me. And I think that's anyone, because I get such a creature of habit with my routine. My routine's different than yours, but I wake up and I make my bed. Making the bed to me is just like I don't know, like there's a lot of things, and you might resonate with this, there's a lot of things that I do that I don't necessarily see results from. Because there's some things where I just have to do it long enough till the results come. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like the bamboo plant, where it takes 5 years for it to sprout, and then when it sprouts, it grows 100 feet on the 5th year within minutes. Mm-hmm. So does it grow 100 feet within minutes, or does it grow 100 feet within 6 years? It's within 6 years. But you have to be faithful enough to take care of it for 6 years before you see any growth. And there's a lot of things in our life like that, right? Where you have to water it, and you have to take care of it, and you have to do it consistently and constantly until you actually see the results. There's no such thing as 8-minute abs. There's a such thing as working out for however long for 6 years and then seeing the results.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that illustration works for every part of our life. Is there is no such thing as instant results. No. Sure, there will be maybe moments where it looks like the needle moves all of a sudden, and people are like, oh God, like with my YouTube channel, people are like, dang, like you created this channel 4 months ago and it's already got like X amount of followers. And it's like, well, yeah, but I started doing this like 3 years ago. Like,
yeah.
Like what about all the other channels that just failed and burned? Like, you can't, I'm not going to make a video. It's like how I grew my channel from 0 to 100,000+ in 3 months. It's like,
you don't know,
because that's not true.
Yeah. Like
that's not true.
Yeah.
I didn't grow it from, I mean, yes, I did make the channel a little over 3 months ago.
But you still had previous experience that failed over and over until it just hit.
Yes. And it's that failing over and over again. I think, not Thomas Edison, it's Henry Ford said, failure is the only opportunity that you get to do something again with more knowledge. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's all it was, is I just learned more and more and more. But anyways, there's so many things in my life that take time. So I do like, and I think it is healthy to have some things that are immediate results, because it triggers that get it done mindset. Yeah. So like I wake up, I make my bed, and it's just an instant, like I get to see it. It was messy, and now it's clean.
You're still...
You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, well that just gives me one accomplishment with the first couple of minutes that I'm awake that I can just visually see. That's done.
Yeah.
From there, I immediately go get coffee, and I start my breakfast, and I watch YouTube. I listen to it mainly because I learn through listening. Like even when I read books, I listen to audio books, and some people judge that, but it's how I learn. I'm just like a audio learner. There's some people that learn
exist
visually.
I'm a visual learner.
I'm an audio.
Yep.
Like I learn through listening. That's how my brain processes things. So, and then some people learn through reading. You know?
There's 3 categories of learning. There's probably 4, but There's spatial, visual, and then I don't know what you would call the reading one. Probably something like verbal, even though there's no audio. I actually want to learn that right now. So you.
Well, so I think that where we're at is like this idea of everybody has like their way that they learn, and I think that it's possible for you to learn in each of those ways, but there's one that clicks with you. So when I wake up, I make the bed, I start making my coffee, I start making my breakfast, and then while I'm doing that, I'm listening to something that inspires me.
Yeah.
So I do like a motivational video like I sent you yesterday, just something that just gets the wheels turning, gets me pumped for the day.
Yeah.
And as corny and as cliche as that may sound, that's what I do. And then I immediately, after I get the breakfast or whatever cooking and my mind's already primed to be motivated, then I read my goals for, I read like my affirmations, like all that. I just call it like the mindset. Like I get the mindset right. So I do my motivation, my mindset, then I jump in the shower.
Yep.
And then after the shower, the day's ready to start. You know
my
what I mean?
day starts pretty late, I would say. Like I wake up.
Well, regardless of the time, it's still the same idea.
Yeah. Like my day is a shorter day than everybody else because I spend a lot of it watching YouTube and then a little part of it working out and doing cardio, and then the rest of my night is just working on my computer. I don't have any other things that I want to do. That's why I'm not doing them. So I spend my day doing what I want to do right now because I'm out of college. So I'm just like, it's this whole year where I've made a lot of progress and success with myself without having to go above and beyond. Like I didn't have to do these crazy things and achieve crazy feats just to be in a better spot. I've just simply stuck to a routine, and then I got better every day.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. That's an interesting point. Okay, so I believe that it's just like the stock market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime, you can use so many illustrations to paint it, but I feel like it's just like the stock market. If you were to take $1,000 or $100 this week, and you were to invest it in a certain stock, and I'm not giving financial advice, I'm just saying, you invest in a certain stock, and you did that every week, you did that, and you invested in a stock that over a 20-year period, on an average, it grew 7%, right? Like clockwork. So you invested that 20 years later, you would have a good sum of money because you invested $100 a week in this stock that over a 20-year period had grew 7% each year. So likewise, if you did that, it would compound interest. If you did that for 30 years, at year like 25 or so, the compound interest would start like multiplying to such a rapid rate, right? The reason I say all that is because there was a time in your life when you first got started with like your social media and all that stuff where you were going hard.
As hard as I could.
As hard as you could, probably facing burnout, like getting to that edge of like, God, like, you know what I mean? And likewise, I recently just came from that. Like, people see the channel that I have getting how it's getting, but like, I really had to go hard doing that. You know what I mean? So much now where I'm like trying to just, I'm battled with it a little bit because I got like, God, that was a lot. You know what I mean? It might not seem like a lot. It might just seem simple to people, but it's like,
you gotta dig deep to make these videos.
Because you gotta watch. You gotta, like, if you're doing documentaries, you gotta like, documentaries is not an easy thing to do. So you gotta do a lot of research. You gotta watch a lot of other videos. You gotta read a lot of stuff. Like, you gotta figure out the information so that you can then give it to people. Give it to them correct. You know what I mean? And so it does take time to do that. And it's not just idea creation or curation. It's not just the idea part. It's the ideas, but it's also the physical work of doing all the research, all the watching. I might have to watch 4 or 5 hours of content to make one video. And people don't know that.
No, because you don't say it. You just
make
the content. Yeah,
exactly.
They just
but
see
that's
the
100% true. So like, you see one video and you don't know that it was an hour of editing and it was 5 hours of research, and that just produced one video, but I'm doing 6 a day. So then, like, at what point, if every video took 6 hours, which it doesn't, but I'm just saying if it did, how many 6-hour periods do you have in one day? You know what I mean?
Oh,
And then you're trying to do 6 a day. So how do you ever get ahead of that, especially when it's 7 days a week?
mm-hmm.
So at a certain point, you wrestle with that where you almost need people to help you, but you're not in a position where you can have people help you. So then you just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
So the reason I brought all this up was to say, like, I think that when people may hear you say, like, well, I can just coast now because it's just about being consistent. It's like, yeah, but that was birthed out of you going to a length that you almost faced burnout to get to a place where you could then use that as leverage to be consistent.
Yeah, like people don't know that when I started, I was in college and I was working 4 or 5 days a week.
I mean, when I met you, you was going hard in the paint, bro.
Yeah, like I was working every day. I was uploading videos 15 times a day. I don't know why I did that. I just, any idea I come up with, it would be in between classes. I'd go home and I would make as many as I could within 30 minutes. And then I would eat a snack instead of eating a meal. I would eat a snack where I had my meals already made. And then if I went back to school or I just had some time off before work, I would make as many as I possibly could. Pumping out all of these every day while working, while going to college, while getting good grades, while prepping for a bodybuilding competition. I was in a deficit. I was eating less every month. So my mind was just being fogged up by the lack of energy, and I won my competition. And then through the summer, it was just the same thing. I had a girl I was talking to. I had to hang out with her. I had to take care of myself. I had to make more videos and come up with ideas. I started a YouTube channel. And then in the second half of last year, I was prepping for another competition. I went back to school.
I started doing the podcast.
Started doing the podcast. People, I don't tell people all this stuff because, you see all this stuff, all the reward that I got, and that makes people think it was easy. So instantly they try to do it too. They're inspired.
Which is great.
If I tell them that it was so hard, it might not be as inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if you're watching this, you're like, well, man, that doesn't sound as fun as just having a big following.
And that's the difference between whether you really want it. If it's worth, I say it all the time, the juice has got to be worth a squeeze. You might not want it, but if the juice is worth a squeeze, then you'll go through the shit part. There's always going to be a shit part. You'll go through the shit part. And the truth is there might be several shit parts. You go through these stages where it's really hard and then it just becomes easy. Mm-hmm. And then it's really hard and then it becomes easy. Because every time you're going, like I look at it like this, like you said, it's never just stagnant. I feel like you go up the mountain and then it plateaus and then that's the easy part until you have to grow again. Mm-hmm. And then you grow again and it's hard and then you it's just but then each level, if you look at level 3 where you've plateaued, not plateaued in a negative way, but where you've gotten up the mountain and now you're just running full speed and the wind's at your back and everything's just going smooth. It's yes. And then you hit another challenge that causes you to grow again. And then that growth is more difficult. Mm-hmm. But then when you get to level 5 and you're on the smooth ground and the wind's at your back and you look at level 1 and you're just I remember when I thought level 1 was hard.
Yeah.
I could do level 1 with my eyes closed.
Yep.
Level 1 ain't nothing. But someone on level 1's gosh, I don't know. And it's look, you just got to get to the top. Once you get to the top, then it's breeze.
Yeah.
And then you're going to hit another mountain. And then you're going to question it. And then you're going to wonder if you should quit because it's hard again and it's difficult. And then all of a sudden, wind's at your back again. And you're thinking, this is easy. And then you get to level 5 and you're looking at level 1 thinking, man, I almost quit. And level 5 is difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I could go back and do it all over again if I wanted to, 10 times quicker.
Exactly.
I'm going back to school, actually. So I'll prove it. I'll go back to school. I'll go back to working. And I'll make more videos again. I'll do it all just to prove that, I can do it.
Yeah. And so I think that it's one of those interesting concepts where we get... I mean, it's corny and cliche, but you get what you give. You know what I mean? And I think that if you're on the journey of doing something, it resonated when you said I'm just in this space where I can just do whatever I want and it's easy now. And it's when people hear that, they might just think that it is easy, but it's not. It came as a reward from the hard work. I sent you that quote that one time that kind of just came up with in my mind as I was thinking about all this, and it was just like I want to be ready for convenience.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be ready for convenience, because if I'm ready for convenience, then it won't break me. It'll make me, because I'll leverage it to get more done.
Yep.
If I'm not ready for convenience, then it'll break me because I'll use the convenience to procrastinate.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, I get the reward of hard work, and hard work develops the type of person that doesn't quit, the type of person that rises to the challenge, and the type of person who is responsible with their convenience.
Yeah.
A lot of people couldn't be their own boss because they would never wake up. A lot of people couldn't be their own boss because they can't demand from themselves what a boss demands from them.
Yeah.
So like you'll show up on time or early when someone else is holding you responsible. But would you show up on time and early when it's you holding yourself responsibility? You know what I mean? And I tell myself that, like, hey, you work for yourself right now, but I'm willing to fire myself. Like, and I evaluate that, like, hey, Shawn, if you were an employee, like back when you was managing people, like, if your performance right now was at your old job and you were managing that performance, would you be having a talk with that person and saying, hey, kind of, you're hit or miss. Like when you're here, you're great, but you're hardly here. And I need you to be great all the time, meaning I need you to be here when you're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So then you got to figure out, are you going to do this full-time or part-time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I'm going to fire you and you're just going to have to deal with the humiliation of having to go back and start over somewhere else because you couldn't handle it.
Exactly.
But most people won't have that conversation with themselves.
When I was waking up for school, it was always like, because I had to drive 45 minutes.
Why should you go to school, man?
Murray, I'm still going to do the same thing. I don't see a point
That's
in
a
moving
long
out.
drive, baby.
I don't see a point in moving out yet because the cost won't make the difference. Paying for gas won't be any more expensive than moving out. So I don't care to make the drive, but it's just committing to waking up an hour and a half earlier. God, that is just like waking up an hour and a half earlier for something just sounds horrible. Because there's people who live in Murray. There's people who live by campus who just wake up and walk 5 minutes before the class starts.
True.
But that's just the difference between me and them.
Once again, and then think about it this way too, like that once again is you rising up to the challenge. That's the mountaintop of level 5. You know what I mean? Where you having to do that inconvenience develops something into you. And that's why I was saying, like, right now, I don't get a reward. My reward is hard work. It's the inconvenience. Because the inconvenience will make me the type of person that when I have convenience, I leverage it. I actually use it to my benefit.
When you get an editing team, man, it's going to be game over.
100%.
When you have people who are
I'll do this with 18 channels, bro.
Yeah,
like I could like fucking take over because I know how to do it now. Yeah. Like I'm serious. Like we could like fucking.
It doesn't even, like your documentary style doesn't even have to just be pertaining to rap at this point. Like you can get into other stuff too because you're a knowledgeable guy. You could get into video games eventually. You could get into pop music. It's just like
I was telling someone the other day, they were telling me that they wanted to do content, and they were wanting to do content pertaining to like fitness and stuff, and I just immediately gave them one of my ideas. I was just like,
yeah,
and I'll say it here. I mean, it's kind of died out now, but at the time I was like, okay, well, because they were telling me about a story about Liver King or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, there it is. Show Liver King when he was in his prime, talking about how he wasn't on steroids. Then show a clip.
Show the exposing.
Of him being exposed by others. And then show a clip of him. And talk in between this. Do documentary style. And then show a clip. Because I always think it's better when you can like tell the story but also show clips. Even if I'm talking over it, I want to show the clip from where it is.
Presented, though.
Yeah, I like it better because a lot of YouTube documentaries will just be someone talking and just telling the story the whole time.
Yeah,
but I like it to be backed up with like, no, this is actually like, look at this. Like
when you're watching David Attenborough talking about animals for an hour straight, there's almost never clips of him talking. The whole point of the documentary is to document.
Exactly. So, and then have a video of Liver King admitting that he was on steroids.
Yeah, the apology.
And then have a video of him saying that he was natural now And then
Matt
as
is
you
back on
continue,
it.
yeah, and then continue to show some other people speculating that he was never actually off.
Yeah.
Then show his photos of him being off in comparison to his photo of when he was on, and notice there was no difference.
Yeah.
And then now when he's back on,
Yeah.
and
Everywhere.
there is your documentary that will get
But then now you can do that.
you views.
Dude, you can get into the fitness. There's so many fitness podcasts.
I'm not as knowledgeable.
No.
I just knew that
Yeah.
because it was kind of popular.
Yeah.
Um,
But you don't.
but that's
you're
it.
Not
Like, look,
knowledgeable.
that's a great idea. Bam. That's a video people would watch because they're interested in that topic.
You say you're not knowledgeable on the topic, but you also just said 10 minutes ago that you watched 5 hours of footage of Rat because you didn't know those 5 hours before you watched them. You just hop into a fitness podcast, watch 2 hours of it, and then learn, make a
And
video
here's
out of
the crazy thing. The reason I watch the rap stuff is because I already do. Like, it's just something I'm interested in.
Yeah, it's something you're interested
So I already do, and a lot of them have nuggets of wisdom. So I like listening to how people made it. Like, I like knowing their story.
Yeah.
So
It is
I
different.
could
It is
just
different.
I could just hop into a fitness that's actually getting their like story. You know what I mean? Like, they're like how they made it, how they
I'm
hustled.
sure Joe Rogan has interviewed some fitness stars.
Well, yeah. But regardless, like someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger is very motivational.
Oh, you could make so many on him. There's so many documentary style videos on him already. Pumping Iron. You just go through that movie.
But yeah, it's just like. But the point is that it's at this point, because of the work and the grind, like you said, now I'm to a point to where when I do get the convenience of having a team, we're gonna blow it up.
It's gonna blow up so easy. Yep.
So
That's exactly how it works.
but you have to climb the
Work for
mountain
yourself.
to get that.
Yeah, like
You have to
if
climb.
the team's at the top of the mountain, I'm climbing to the top of the mountain to get my team.
And listen, and like you said, there's levels to it, or like we were saying earlier, there's levels to it. So like you climb the first mountain, the team's not at the top of the first mountain.
Hmm.
They might be at the top of the
They're not
eighth
be
mountain.
Scattered. Oh god.
And they might be scattered. You might like at the top of my first mountain, I found you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So we found each other at the top of our first mountain, and then we go to the second mountain, and then we find Blaine. You know what I mean? Now we bringing him on board.
Yeah.
And I mean, not that we're all, you know what I mean? We're all connected, but we're not. But we are.
No, we're definitely connected now.
But I'm just saying, as we continue to climb, we're gonna find these people scattered around, and then before you know it, like what? I mean, on Mountain 8, you might get one person each time, and then you might not even get a person. You just might get the idea or the pathway. Like
Or a
that's what I
program.
found on the top of Mountain 2 was the pathway.
Yeah.
It might actually be Mountain 2 where I found you, and Mountain 3 where I found the pathway. But my point is I found the pathway.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, here's the pathway. Now Mountain 3 or 4, Blaine, and now Mountain 5, this person. And then we might get to Mountain 10, and there'd be 20 people at the top of that mountain where it's like, okay, that's the full team. And then we're going to climb a mountain together. And then when we climb the mountain, some of those people are not going to climb with us.
They might
That's
fall
why there was
off.
20. So now we get to Mountain 10, and then there's only 5 left. But hey, that was the 5 that's meant to be there.
Exactly. That's how it is from here now. I'm building a team. It's not much of a team that'll help me. It's more of a team that'll build friendships that'll last.
Yeah.
Because I already have friends, but I don't have friends who will help me with the stuff personally. Like, I don't know how to explain it. People who share these very niche feelings. Because my friend group, we all have our niche hobbies. But if I find my friends in my niche hobbies, then we're all friends building off of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, too, like right now, the team that I'm building is not necessarily a team that's helping me with my individual thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm building teams with people who will be a part of it, even if it's through just the radiation of it. You know what I mean? Like the vibration of it. Like, because I think they're separate, but they connect in a lot of ways. And
Yeah.
so you get like this, like, what's the you know, like the little thing that be on people's desks where you grab the ball and you hit it and it hits all the other balls, and then you know what I'm talking
Newton's
about?
Cradle?
Huh?
Newton's Cradle?
Is that what that is? Yeah. You sure? You positive? How positive? 1 to 10. Positive. Being 10.
11.5.
What's it called? Luton's Cradle?
Newton, like Sir Isaac.
100% what it is. But yeah, that's how I feel it is. It's like they might all be individual, but even the things in the middle vibrate the next one. You know what I mean? So it's like that's it, man.
Yeah.
That's
the
word.
One of those.
It's very creative. I want one.
You'll mess with it for a day, and then you won't ever again.
Well, it's kind of like the lava lamp. It just inspires me.
The lava lamp's cool, though. It's an ongoing
It'd just be a nice thing where I could just pop it once.
What about one of those birds
like
that you see in the movies that fills up with water, and then it tips and drinks, and then it comes back up?
Creativity, man. Yeah.
That's what you need right there.
I'm ordering that.
One of those birds.
For the new studio, that's what we're doing.
Speaking of new studio, there might be a studio one day. We don't know when. Ever.
There will be. We just don't know exactly when it's going to happen.
It's going to be the back of a minivan. It's going to be the back of a minivan. Dude, the ice cream truck with the studio in the back and the couch. No. Ice cream truck never landed. By the way.
So we're going to get Newton's Cradle. What else? What, the bird that...
The bird. I don't know what you call it. I think you call it the drinking bird. That's what it's called.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
I don't remember them looking like that, though.
What do you mean? Well, in the movies, they probably look different. That's what they've always looked like.
Okay. Yeah, just need a bunch of stuff like that. Maybe one of them salt rocks.
What?
Them little, like, glowing rocks.
The big ones. Maybe you get, like, a geode. A geode would be cool.
Yeah, like one of those.
No, those are garbage.
Himalayan
creative.
Salt.
What? What's creative about it? It looks like you look like one of those chicks who think crystals.
More lava lamps. I need more lava lamps.
No. You need a Rubik's cube.
Just things that like inspire.
Like you could actually interact with these things.
Yeah. What else? Gotta be more.
Have you ever gotten like really cool magnets before? Oh my god, that reminds me. I used to have these magnets growing up that were like a bunch of tiny balls that you put together and make shapes out of them. I'll find it and you'll be obsessed with these.
All right, inspirational interactive desk items to spark curiosity.
Oh my god. Did you ever have any of these? These magnets?
Mm-mm.
Dude, you can make all kinds of shapes out of them.
Man, I don't want to like pick up a hobby. I just want something on the desk that just like this. Like, what the heck is this? Pendulum.
Oh, a pendulum. That's creative.
Yeah, and it just draws in the sand, baby.
Magnet dots.
Look at that. Just.
Oh, you would love that. I know you'd love it. Just don't sneeze.
Oh gosh.
It goes everywhere. Sphere magnets. Dude, I remember those. I used to love those. Man, what if you get like a little Lego set and build it?
Oh, a little spinning top.
That could be something. Maybe a fidget spinner.
A Tesla coil?
No. Those are so cheap. A Fushigi ball? You ever heard of one of those?
A magnetic decision maker ball? Pendulum?
What about a Fushigi ball?
I don't know what that is.
I'm going to teach you the Fushigi way. You don't know the magic gravity ball? Never heard of the Fushigi ball?
Mm-mm.
There were these actors that like would convince people that the ball is floating, and then I got one, and it was not the case.
It was not the case.
No, maybe a little magic 8-ball. No, the pendulum with the sand actually is kind of cool. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. A little pendulum.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we got it. We got some stuff going. Maybe a little hourglass.
That'd be cool. A 30-minute one? That'd be a cool timer.
Yeah.
That'd be like a cue to let us know that it's the end of the episode.
And it's just a creative way to tell
which
time.
Would be 4 minutes ago.
So let's see. Yeah, we had a good podcast.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so just so y'all know, we're going to get an hourglass. is just cool.
Yeah.
Cool way to tell time. Hourglass, an inspirational interactive desk item, which is the sand pendulum.
The sand pendulum is kind of cool.
Wherever it is.
We can do like a box opening.
Yeah, and then a Rubik's Cube.
You go. And
then
the
a bird drinking.
And Newton's Cradle.
And Newton's Cradle.
I actually always kept Newton's Cradle on my desk growing up. I always did. Even though if it ever got tangled, I still kept it there.
So do you got one?
It got tangled, so I threw it away. But
how do they get tangled?
Because if you're stupid with them, like if you tilt it over at all, the balls just like will magically wrap around each other. So don't do that. You have to keep it flat.
Keep it flat.
It's like when you put wired earbuds in your pocket and you don't move, and they still come out tangled.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been Atypical.
Pocket.
And I'm Shawn.
I'm Cam, and that's Train.
Catch you next time. Where's the train coming from? In the neighborhood? Who's driving a train in the neighborhood? Are we? What? All right. We'll catch you next time.